Okay, so first thing first, I have my top marked. That's important. And next, I'm gonna mark roughly where I want the dowel pieces to be. So I'm gonna say I want one there. So right there, I'm gonna say I want one in the middle and one at the end. So I'm gonna do 3. And the reason I'm putting these pencil marks is just so I can find the line I scribe with my marking knife later. Thing is, the marking knife is the most accurate way to do it, but sometimes the lines you make can kind of hide from you. So I'm going to align this roughly perpendicular to the board here. It doesn't have to be perfect. You want it to be close. And then I'm just going to scribe a mark here. Make it heavy enough so you can find it, but light enough so you can sand it out. So, yep, a mark there. You can kind of see it right there. Okay, so the reason I put the circle here is just so I know my mark is somewhere in this vicinity. First thing you do is you need to find the mark. And when you run your marking knife along it, it'll kind of fall in to where that mark is. So it's right here, it fell in. And then you're gonna align your square to the knife. Perfect. And now I'm gonna make a mark right here. Basically, we're gonna repeat that for all 6 spots. This was one. All right, so I have all 6 of these lines marked. The next thing I want to do, I'm gonna take my square, loosen it, and I want to, let's see if I can do this on camera, find roughly the halfway spot. I mean, if you want, you can do this exactly, but it doesn't really matter because as long as they're all at the same level, you'll be fine. And basically, where this line is, take your square like that, and then mark another line. So now you are going to have basically a crosshair right here. And as long as you draw your hole for your dowel in the exact center of the crosshair on all your spots here, the board should theoretically line up very nicely. All right, so now I have all the spots marked. So it's hard to see on camera, but all 6 spots with the holes are going to be, I have a line going this way and I have a line going that way. And they are all in the exact same spot respectively. It'll make sense as we go. So at least the square that I have right here in the back, it comes with this little like sharp point dealio. What I'm gonna do, and I apologize, I don't know all the technical names for all this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find that exact center of the crosshair. And you can kind of feel it. I'm gonna do one of those. So that is in the exact center, or actually, let me rephrase it. It is as close as I can reasonably get it to the exact center. I do have one of these spring punches. Here's the deal. I love the concept of it. I think it's really cool, but in practicality, maybe it's just me, but as carefully as I try to align it, when I punch it, I feel like it gets off. Again, I don't know if it's me, or I don't know if it's, I just got a cheap punch, but I feel like doing it this way. I mean, yeah, that just goes right there. Give it a couple taps. And this hole is just gonna be to help start the drill bit in the correct spot. So let me finish these and then I'll come back. So now that I got all of these holes marked, next thing is I need to drill a hole. The thing is, with the drill bits, let me show you a set I have here. I have this Milwaukee set. These guys are awesome. I love them to death. I've used them a ton, but the tips are not very, what's the word, like precise. And so when you're trying to drill a hole, it can wander off easily. There are like guides to help and actually have one coming. But that being said, even with those type of drill bits, it can be hard to find the right, how do I word this, to line it up correctly. So I actually got these guys. These guys are a brad point drill bits. The nice thing about these is, as you can see, they have a nice pointy tip. And so the idea is to stick that nice pointy tip, align it with that mark I made, and that should hopefully get me a dead accurate bang on hole. So I'm going to be using 3/8 inch dowel, so this is 3/8 bit. With that brad point, I mean, that just falls right in there, and I'm going to drill a hole. I'm going to use a 2-inch long dowel, so that means I need to drill an inch into this. I'll drill slightly more, because if you're slightly short, no matter how hard you clamp, it's not going to come together. The other thing is I need to measure an inch from here and not the tip. So from there to, you know, however far inches. So, super fancy method of make sure you don't drill too far. So just use a piece of tape. I got my ruler here. Let me see if I can do this while on camera. Again, I am slightly, yeah, so I'm about 1 1/8 inches. That is on purpose. So just to show you the accuracy here, so the end of the ruler is pretty much lined up at the beginning of the hole. Lined up. And pretty much lined up. That one's like slightly off, but you know, we're talking about a few tenths of a millimeter off, so that's totally fine. So I'm gonna do the other one, and then we will keep going. So 2 inches is about, don't have to be perfect, but pretty close there. And use table saw and cut these to 2 inches. So I'll come back when I need 3 of these cut. You know, you can buy dowel with grooves already in it, so just do that and save yourself some trouble. Okay, this won't be hard at all. Okay, that'll work. There we go. That's a pretty passive fit. Yes. Okay, so I am now just gonna send it. I'm gonna go for it and see what happens. So wish me luck. I'll set up the whole clamping setup, and then I'll turn the camera on to show you guys. This part, like there's a little bit of lip here, so that's a little higher than this. It's not too terribly much, so it'll be pretty easy to fix with a hand plane. Time consuming, but pretty easy. But yeah, should be good to go.